Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alina Shevtsova. I'm an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. And today we received another very important piece of news from USCIS. It's about the Affidavit of Support. It's actually very important news because it's going to affect mostly family-based immigration, but of course it's going to affect some employment-based immigration as well. Affidavit of Support is a necessary document that many immigrants would have to submit to show that they have a sponsor in the United States, to show that they will not become a public charge in the United States. And usually people who are sponsored by their family members, like spouses, you can sponsor a parent if you're sponsoring children, siblings. Hi, Yusuf. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me. Usually, family members would have to submit an affidavit of support, just so you know that the petitioner, somebody who's actually filing the I-130, always has to submit an affidavit of support. And then there may be a joint sponsor needed. Sometimes a household member can submit form I-864A. So it depends on the situation, but the petitioner always will be one of the persons who are submitting affidavit of support. So USCIS is proposing, as we learned, the actual news about that were distributed a little bit earlier, but now they put the rule together. Basically, they're proposing certain very important changes to who can submit affidavit of support and when, and what's going to happen with the petitioner, right? So let me go over those changes, and you can decide for yourself if they're good or bad, okay? You may know, if you watched my videos, that USCIS created a database where all the sponsors and joint sponsors are going to be added. And this database is going to be used by federal agencies to see if reimbursement can be obtained from the sponsors and joint sponsors if an immigrant used some public benefits. Okay, so that's hi Sunshine, hi Edgar, hi Fenella. This is one of them. This is one of the changes that already basically coming. But here are the new important changes. USCIS announced that now, when a U.S. citizen, national, or lawful permanent resident is executing an affidavit of support, he or she must attach credit scores, credit reports, certified copies of the tax returns, and also bank information, statements from your bank account. And here is the thing. Currently, when a petitioner, right, a person who is a joint sponsor who is executing an affidavit of support, currently what's required? Currently what's required is proof of current income above the threshold, above the poverty guidelines, 125% of the poverty guidelines established by the government. And we prove it with not only tax returns, because tax returns sometimes they do not show the current situation, right? Because what matters is the current situation. We show it with pay stubs for the last couple of weeks and a letter of employment, confirming that the person is employed, confirming their yearly salary, okay? That's what is used currently for somebody who is a sponsor or a joint sponsor, usually petitioner or some friend, family who's a joint sponsor. Now, catch the difference. A person who wants to sponsor somebody now will have to also produce credit reports, certified copies of tax returns, and bank statements. Okay? Moreover, if within the past 36 months, 3 years, prior to trying to sponsor somebody, you used means-tested benefits, you must obtain a joint sponsor who hasn't. This is a huge change, huge difference. Because, for example, you are yourself a new immigrant, you won DV lottery. The first year, you didn't really maybe work much, whatever, you used some benefits. Year number 2, year number 3, you are working, you have a good salary, you would like to bring your spouse. Maybe you recently married, you would like to bring your spouse from overseas. Guess what? You will not be able to do that if you used public benefits within the past 3 years without the joint sponsor. Okay? You will always have to bring the joint sponsor. It's a huge change. Same goes for parents. If you're trying to sponsor your parents, if you're trying to sponsor your brothers, sisters, it's a big change, because previously always what the government was looking at was your current income that you're making right now at the time when you're filing for the sponsorship. Now they're going to look 3 years back. Also, they're going to look at the history of who else you were sponsoring, and if you ever did not meet your obligations as a sponsor. Very important, meaning that if you sponsored somebody and that somebody used public benefits, now you may not be able to qualify as a sponsor when the rule goes into effect, right? So that's unless you repay the government the money that the other person used up by applying for public benefits. Perhaps that's how it's going to work. We're going to see. Another big change. Currently, a person who is of the same household as the sponsor, that person can execute Form I-864A, Affidavit of Support for the household member. It can be, for example, a child, a son or daughter, right, who lives together with you in the same household, you guys filing taxes together, and they help you to sponsor, for example, your new spouse, the step parent. But now the change is that Form I-864A will be able to be executed only by a spouse or intended immigrant if his or her principal residence will be the same as with the sponsor. Practically speaking, it's only going to be a spouse. So now that, and if you know a little bit about immigration, Form I-864A is a very short version of a regular Affidavit of Support. It's very easy to file it. So now only spouses will be able to do that, and basically it's only, let's say, if a citizen is trying to sponsor their parents, then his or her husband will be able to execute Form I-864A to show that the couple will be able to sustain parents together in the United States. All right, so this is one example as to how this situation may now be limited to which case scenarios. All right, so big changes are coming. If a sponsor used public benefits within the past 36 months, a joint sponsor is a must. And certified taxes, it's not so easy, by the way, to get certified copies of the tax returns, if that's what they really mean, opposed to tax transcripts. You have to request them from IRS, and it takes some time to get them. And of course, bank information, basically they're going to look at how you spend your money. It's a bit invasive, I would say, right? Because you probably don't want to tell the world where you're shopping, but, and credit reports. All right, so that's what it is. Also with the credit reports, it may be a bit unfair situation, right? If somebody made a mistake, maybe there is a judgment and they're trying to pay it off, but still their credit is ruined. So, but that's the situation. That though this is the new rule. This is what's going to happen with the affidavit of support. Okay, so while you still subject to the current rule, take advantage of it. Okay, take advantage of it. Submit your documents now before the rule changes. Also, if you missed it somehow, just know that USCIS will not impose new fees. There was a lawsuit, and the lawsuit stopped the implementation of the new fee schedule that was supposed to start tomorrow. So you can still use the old fees. USCIS just actually confirmed that in a statement. They said that they will be accepting current versions of the forms and current amounts of the fees. So this is a very good news, at least for now, if you need to file for citizenship, because for citizenship, the amount jumped significantly, about $400, almost $500. So if you are ready to file for something now, do it now. And now, guys, if you have some questions, I will be happy to answer them if you wish. Hi, Karen. Hi, Edgar. Hi, Funella. Hi, Musana. Diadi, Mohammed. Hi, Mamadou. No, yes, I have a question. The citizenship certificate fee will go up on October 2nd. It will not. So it's a good news. Okay, it was a lawsuit, and the judge stopped the fees from going up, at least for now. So if you're ready to file for something, take advantage of that. Okay. Hi, Raul. Hi, Sheriff. Hi, Tan. When will these changes take effect? Well, they're proposing to publish the rules soon. Okay, let me see when exactly. Usually they give you 30-60-day notice. There is a commenting period too. I'm gonna look it up and I'm going to tell you exactly, not to make a mistake here. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my comments, but usually they give you like some time in advance. Hi, Funella. I'm waiting on my interview appointment date. I have submitted affidavit of support and it was approved in 2020. But because of COVID-19 and I have to wait for the reopening of embassy, would I still have to submit again an affidavit of support? An affidavit, it may be very well, yes, that during the interview you will be required to submit not only the affidavit of support, but at the interview, okay? But to update some other documents like medical exam and things like that. But if you've had it done already, I'm not sure. But usually the rule of thumb is that your documents have to be fresh, and if they expire, they expire. And as to affidavit of support, I can imagine that, yes, they may ask you to, you know what they may ask you to bring? Prove that your sponsor is currently employed, okay? And currently is making money, just because so many people lose their jobs. And as you can imagine, this public charge rule is going on, so you should be ready with your financials, okay? Updated financials. Hi, Moses. Can you repeat the new rules? This video will be posted after I speak, okay? And you will be able to watch it. But basically, the new rules would be that you, a sponsor, will have to have a joint sponsor if they used public benefits within the past 36 months. That more documents will have to be submitted when a sponsor is filing affidavit of support, like sponsor's credit history, bank statements, certified copies of the tax returns. And if the sponsor previously sponsored somebody and did not comply with his or her obligations, didn't pay the money, then the sponsor will have hard time sponsoring, will not qualify as a sponsor, okay? Also, I can imagine, by the way, the forms will be changing, of course, when the new rules are going to kick in, and changes to who can be executing affidavit of household member, I-864A form. Hi, Caesar. What about the unemployment authorization, I-45? Any changes? Employment authorization form is I-765. There were a lot of changes depending on the grounds of which you were trying to qualify for it. I-485 form is adjustment of status form, okay? So here you just need to be mindful of a public charge. That's what basically changed recently for those who are filing for adjustment of status as a public charge. Again, it's back for everyone. And for I-765 form, its main changes came for those who are filing based on asylum, okay? Huge changes. I have a video about that. It's hard to qualify for it. You can get disqualified for it in the middle of your waiting period if you cause delays. So, hi Riet, hi Med, hi Moon. USS sent me reply for service requests. They will make a decision in 60 days on my pending I-45. Will they? My priority date. Will they? My priority date is in 2016. I do not know. Very often you receive notices from USCIS promising that they're going to make a decision within a certain time. And very often, unfortunately, it does not happen. So I would say that you need to work with your lawyer. And if it doesn't happen this time, perhaps look into other options as to how to get a decision from USCIS on a pending I-485. Also, not sure why your case is pending so long. It depends on the ground that you submitted and under which you submitted, and maybe there are some questions in your case, but you know, just the fact that they sent you promise to reply doesn't actually mean that they will reply, but we hope that they will. Hi Mark. So I came to America in November to spend a week with my girlfriend. We end up getting married. Now I'm back at my country, a married man, of course, just wondering, can my wife file for me? I do have visa. This is my third 10 years. My question is, if we do file, can I travel? And seeing I came and I did get married, will that be a problem? So I guess your question is that you got married with your wife. You got married. Did you get married in the United States? And you got married during your visit to the United States, and now you would like to see her again in the United States. It seems that you have a valid visa, and you would like her to apply for you. Well, guys, if you got married, you obviously are planning, probably, I hope, to live together at some point, right? So your wife absolutely should go forward and file for you. Now, what's going to happen with your visa? It's a totally different question, because the CBP officer may deny your admission if he or she determines that there is a there is an immigrant intent, if you would like to stay in the United States, or in some cases, and I know many cases, that the officer does allow you to come in and to spend some time with a spouse, but you have to prove that you're going to go back, okay? So that's usually the issue. If you can show that you're going to go back, if you have a stable employment in your home country, maybe you have children from the previous relationship, it depends on your situation, okay? Of course, there is a risk that you may be denied admission if you will try to use tourist visa after an immigrant petition was filed for you. But that's a risk that you're taking, okay? That's a risk that you're taking. Hi, Geoffrey. What ideas did you have about I-45 in New York? Not sure, guys. Everything goes as planned so far. Delays, people are called for the interviews. Actually, every one of my clients whose interviews were canceled due to COVID were called for the interviews for adjustment of status. So I wouldn't say that we have terrible issues. I think if the case is stuck it's stuck regardless of COVID, okay? Maybe there is something else going on there. So, but cases are being called. Hi, Sunshine. I replied to USS and they sent me back. And they say they will use my old fingerprints. Do you know what else they will do? They will use your old fingerprints. That's good, okay? If you filed for some kind of a benefit and you received a notice that USCIS is able to reuse your previously submitted fingerprints, that's very good news. You don't need to worry about it. They will use what they have on file to see if you have subsequent criminal history. I hope you don't. Hi, Matt. My wife, she doesn't use the public benefits. How we get certified the taxes? Okay. To get certified copies of the taxes, you will need to go to IRS website. Okay. I'm not a tax expert, but I just know that there are special documents that you need to fill out, special requests for that. Okay. And they do come with a stamp, at least that's how they did in the past. They have a red stamp saying certified. Hi, MD. For asylum seeking people, have any news about affidavit? Asylum seeking people do not need an affidavit of support because they are exempt from public charge rules. Okay, so somebody who's seeking asylum in the United States, or somebody who is applying for VAWA benefits, somebody who is filing for special immigrant juvenile status, those people do not need to submit affidavit of support, form I-864, and they're exempt from becoming a public charge. The public charge rule does not apply to them, okay? There are some other exemptions. For example, many employment-based cases, in many situations, the person does not have to submit an affidavit of support. Because, you know, to qualify for an employment-based case, your employer certifies that they will pay you prevailing wage, and that prevailing wage is higher than the minimum wage. So you should be able to support yourself, okay? So that's what's going on with those cases. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today and asking your questions. It was a pleasure. And I will post the exact days of when this proposed changes are supposed to be getting into effect. All right. So please like, share this video, and thank you for joining me again. And I hope to see you soon.